everyone. I just wanted to start off by saying thanks to Silver Liitma from the Chilli Disc Golf Club over in Estonia, and also all the other Estonians that are involved in the Chilli Disc Golf Club and future members. I'm just glad to be able to kind of be a part of your guys' disc golf club from all the way across the country, and I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys and say this is awesome, and I'm be glad to do a video for you guys. And I also want to thank the Disc Golf World Tour that's coming to Estonia and Latitude 64. So Silver gave me some questions that he wanted answered, so here they are. Well, I practice every day, just like any professional athlete would. At the top of their game, you have to practice and play every single day. So that's a given. You got to practice, but it's not just about practicing every day. It's about quality of practice and quantity of practice. You can't do one or the other. You have to make sure to do both, quality and quantity of practice. So that's big when you're practicing, as opposed to some people just doing one or the other. It really takes dedication to do quality and quantity of practice. And also the second part of the question was, what do I focus on while practicing? I definitely focus on my weakest point. So that way, if I focus on my weakest point, if I focus on practicing that the most, then by the time I'm done practicing, hopefully that's not my weakest point, and it's up to par with the rest of my game. So by the time I need that shot, it's not my weakest point. Just from personal experience, as far as me working up the amateur ranks and starting playing and working my way up to a professional player, I definitely have to say that one of the bigger things when I was an amateur working my way up to pro is the fact that when you're first starting, everything's it's a great game and it's fun to play, and it's still fun to play for me at this point. But you got to make sure to break the barrier between going out and having fun with your friends, which is fine, but you also, if you want to get better and take on the more competitive aspect of the sport and become a professional, you have to make that you have to make the different switch between it being fun to making being serious and competitive. So you have to be able to convince yourself that it's still fun, but you still also have to combine the fun part with the competitive aspect, as far as practicing and going out and practicing with your buddies. Maybe sometimes you can't always just go out and practice with your buddies because you don't get as good a quality of practice as you might want to. So that for me, it was just finding the right group of buddies to play with too. That's a big part of it, is playing with a group of people that you enjoy playing with, that push you if you want to get better. Or also, like I said, the fun part, it's fine to just go out and have fun with your buddies. There's nothing wrong with that, but you just gotta make up in your mind whether you want to just have fun or you want to go on to try and put in the quality and quantity of practice to become a professional. Well, I definitely have to say that my favorite disc is the Zero Hardline Dagger. It seems to feel the best in my hand out of all three plastic. The Zero Hardline, that is. They have three plastics, and that one feels the stiffest and the most comfortable in my hand. So I like the Zero Hardline. And the Dagger, it has definitely a deep rim, wide rim technology putter. I like that. It seems to fit really well in my hand, and just feels like it'll go in the hole. And why I like it is because I seem to make putts from everywhere. And that's why I like the Dagger. And as far as new discs go, I definitely add new discs in my bag depending on the weather. If it's rainy or windy, if it's rainy, I'll add discs with extra grip. And if it's super windy conditions, I'll definitely have a few extra backup discs to where I'll keep them in my bag in case the wind really picks up and I need that disc for a certain shot. As far as trying out new discs, if there's a new disc that comes out from Latitude, and I really, a lot of the team members are really liking it, I'll go out and field test it in the field and really see if I really need that disc. And if I think it's a disc that'll really help my game, I'll add it to my bag after throwing it for a while. But I'm not just going to add a disc in my bag, without throwing it much during a tournament. So I'll have to field test it for at least an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Just sit there and throw it in the field repeatedly to make sure it's it's the type of disc that I want. So that's the biggest deal, is making sure that I throw it and get used to it before I add it to my bag. And as far as my favorite course, I'd have to say Santa Cruz and De La Vega Park in Santa Cruz, California. that's one of my favorite courses. I like that course just because it's got a lot of natural terrain that is really hilly and slope. The fairway slope one way or the other, and the greens are really, there's a lot of drop-offs behind the greens. And I think that's very crucial in a course to make it a good course because it doesn't use it doesn't use any unnatural out of bounds. All the obstacles are naturally there, and I really think that's just a sign that the course design is really good, because they don't need to add any false out of bounds or string or anything to that course, just because most of the out of bounds is just natural sloping greens, and it just makes for a tough course without having to add the ropes or anything like some other courses, which is, the ropes are fine, but I just think it's a really pretty, beautiful, and difficult course all in one. I think it's just a great designed course, one of the best designed courses on tour. My second favorite course probably has to be the Vibram Open, Maple Hill. The Vibram Open is the tournament, and the Maple Hill is the Maple Hill Gold Course is my favorite course, second favorite probably. And I think it's a great course just because it has a variety of different shots. It's got water shots, it's got hilly shots, par 4s, par 3s, in the woods, in the open, and once again, it's a greatly designed course. And I think that's definitely sets the standard for long gold, professionally designed courses is Maple Hill Gold Course. That's one of my second favorite courses in the world. As far as courses go, it definitely changes from time to time as I might play a new course or a new course around the world. But that being said, I think those courses I just told you about are definitely going to stay in the top 5 or top 10, even if I find out about new courses. I think we all know who the top player in the U.S. is, and that's Paul McBeth. He's been playing really, he's just won all the Grand Slam of all the majors, so he's been playing really well. I think I've gotten second to him at almost every major this year, so I think I have to give myself the nod there. And as far as third place goes, there's a few people, but I think Nate Doss is well deserving. I think he's probably the third best player right now, and he's been playing really well in all the big tournaments, and he just got, I think, third place at the USDGC. So right now, I think those are the top 3 in the U.S. As far as Europe goes, I think it's going to be Simon Lizotte. He's been on tour this year, and he's been playing really well this year, and in the U.S., and he's won an international tour here in the States, and he's been playing really well. So number 2, I think, would have to be KJ Nybo. He's a great performer at all the big majors. And thirdly, I think I'd have to go with Seppo Paju. He's also been touring in the States recently. He's a great player from Finland, and he's a great player and a great guy himself. So he's a great player. Probably rounding out the top 3 in Europe is Seppo. So that's what I would rank the top 3 in each country for as of right now. Well, I know that I've done one clinic in Estonia, and I think it was in Tallinn actually somewhere. I don't remember the course, but I think it was with Rasmus Sepp, and he's a great guy. He's probably one of the few Estonian disc golfers I know, but he's definitely a very nice guy, and he was helpful when I was in town. But I don't know too much about Estonia. I've been there I think one day in Tallinn, but all I know is it seems to have really tall medieval looking structures and really cool medieval looking churches and clock towers. So it's definitely a unique country, and I'm looking forward to going there for the 2016 Disc Golf World Tour. Check it out and explore the country more than I did when I went there for the clinic about 2 years ago. I'm still going to be playing disc golf in the off season, just like most other people would, but I'm also going to be, I'm not going to be playing as much. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and refresh the mind, because that's sometimes you really have to do that when you're dedicating your life to something. You don't want to over dedicate yourself, because you'll just get mentally burnt out. I don't want to get burnt out with this sport that I love, and I've dedicated my life to it. So I want to make sure that I don't give I give 100%, but I don't want to give 110%, because it'll really mentally burn yourself out if you really overdo it. So this off season, I'm going to relax. I'm probably going to travel to a few local smaller tournaments, and have a good time and keep my game up and practice a lot. But I'm also going to relax and get ready for the next season, as we have a lot of big tournaments coming up with this new Disc Golf World Tour and the National Tour Series, and then obviously all the majors that I'll definitely be going after next year. So that's my plans for the off season. Well, I definitely have to say one of the cooler things I did was when I went to Australia, and this isn't a disc golf related topic, but I was going scuba diving actually after the tournament, just to kind of relax and unwind after the tournament, and I happened to find a gold ring on the bottom of the ocean. It was kind of like a movie. I was swimming around underwater scuba diving, and I saw this gold thing glowing in the bottom of the ocean, and I swam down there, you know, probably 15 feet, 10, 15 feet deep, not too deep, and you know, I found this gold ring, and you know, so that was a pretty neat experience. You know, I could have cashed it in, but I ended up just keeping it for, you know, just the memory of Australia. All right, Chilli Disc Golf and all the Estonians, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the 2016 Disc Golf World Tour.